Rose was a wonderful and wonderfully complex client for us. She's an African-American woman. Rose is a lesbian. Rose has dementia. Rose has lived through several different cultural and contextual perspectives as an African-American lesbian, because we know that society has changed, life has changed. She's a woman of Jamaican descent. I'm not sure if I said this, but Rose also has dementia, and her only child is deceased. And she has one relative that she's very close to who stays in close contact with her. And there were so many layers to understanding Rose and thinking about the experience of our aging population in society, how different cultures interact with our aging populations. As we mentioned before, what it means to age in place, what the experiences are for people who are in urban settings versus rural settings, what the experience of aging is like for people with chronic illnesses or disabilities, or people who are from the LGBT community. And this we also explored this issue of loneliness as well. For me, this was probably the most personally beneficial area to focus on in this book. And I really hope that our passion for this stage of life comes through in what we've written, and that it inspires curiosity and commitment from students as well.
Yeah, I don't have much to add to what you said, Savitra, other than this was probably one of my favorite parts of the book to work on as well, because it really did highlight for me the need, maybe even urgency in our field to better understand how to serve older adults as mental health professionals. And I think having Rose be a more complex case in terms of all of her multiple intersecting identities was really important, because it also shows that aging is so multidimensional and people experience it in so many different ways. So these chapters also gave us an opportunity to look at both decline and disability and dementia. But what I also loved was looking at some of the theories that help us understand the opportunities for continued growth, for continued development, engagement, creativity, vitality, those things that also can come with aging. So I'm going to turn it over to Christy to talk a little bit about some of those other features that Savitra mentioned briefly.
Yes, absolutely. So we touched on all of these at some point, but just wanted to really highlight, of course, the fantastic contributions of our podcast contributors. So these are voices of people across mental health fields, from human services to psychology to social work, counselor educators, who are also clinicians who really, as mentioned, spoke to the case studies, who gave perspectives, who challenged our thinking, who challenged students to think and grapple with and ask questions as well. And that, I think, is just such a really valuable add to this book. It really was actually one of the places we started when we were conceptualizing how we wanted this book to be different. We recognized that we are 4 authors and we wanted to bring a lot of dimension to each chapter, and we hope that we did, but man, you can't beat the contributions of these podcasts and what they added. So definitely invite everyone to take a listen. You will not regret that. In terms of instructor resources, Savitra mentioned this as well. We have a great instructor manual that really, I think, starts with accreditation mapping. So we all know that that's an important and relevant factor, is making sure we're incorporating all of the necessary features for accreditation, of course. It gives good information on learning objectives, keywords that are used in each chapter, We also have multiple choice questions there and activities and homework assignments or additional resources. So again, if the book is not dimensional or multidimensional enough, it gives you some additional ways that you can have students digest this information, really process what they're reading, really kind of mull over the scenarios in the book and add to that. And then, of course, we just could not cover it all. And so we really try to pull in some additional resources that we felt like students would benefit from. So definitely encourage folks to look at that. We have a test bank as well. So of course, each chapter has a test bank to go alongside each chapter, along with a PowerPoint presentation for use if that is important or necessary. So hopefully all of these elements are just great contributions to the text as well. And we're excited for you to get to interact with those as well.